بسم الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وأحسن الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. As we continue in the sharh of Buloogh ul-Maraam by the great illustrious scholar al-Hafiz Ahmad bin Ali ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahimahullah, who died 822 after the hijrah of Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We stopped at the hadith of Ibn Abbas, and we finished and concluded the explanation of the narration of the authority of Ibn Abbas, where it says in the Jariyatan Bikran Atat النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فذكرت أن أباها زوجها وهي كارهة فخيرها رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم رواه أحمد وأبو داود وابن ماجه وعلة بالإرسال. We finished the hadith of Ibn Abbas where it says that there was a Jariyah, a young youthful girl who was a virgin, and she came to the Prophet ﷺ, and she mentioned that her father married her off to someone, and she was in a state of karaha, that she detested the marriage or detested the individual himself. So the Messenger of Allah ﷺ gave her the choice to either remain with him or to nullify the marriage. This is where we stopped at last lesson. And we said that from the mahasin, of the great things of this religion, is that there's no ijbar for anyone to force anyone to do or coerce them to do something. There's no compulsion unless, like we said, it's something that is a detrimental situation where it takes place with someone who's threatened his life or things of that nature. Then Allah Ta'ala, as we know, overlooks that situation. But in regards to the affairs of marriage, it is not for one also likewise to compulse his muliya, the one whom he is in charge over, such as his daughter or his sister, to force them to marry any individual. And you will find that which from the enemies of Islam that they try to portray, that this is a tyrannical, savage-like religion, with no type of protocol or no type of evidence or proof. It's a radical, chaotic religion with no order and no protocol to it and no system. And these ahadith refute, and the hadith that's going to come, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, refutes the likes of these ambiguities and these stereotypes that are attached to our religion. But you see clearly in this narration of the Prophet ﷺ, it says when she was in a state of detestment of who she was married off to, what happened? She went to the Messenger of Allah ﷺ and mentioned that, and the Messenger of Allah ﷺ khayyaraha, he gave her the choice, gave her to the alternative. If she wanted the what? She can remain with him. If she wanted, then she can what? She can dissolve the marriage. is you'll find the great Imam Salih Fawzan bin Abdullah Fawzan حفظه الله ورعاه وطال الله في عمره بالأعمال الصالحة. Excuse me, everyone. Just trying to fix my papers. And he said in regards to this narration, he says, وهذه مسألة مهمة وقال بها كثير من المحققين من أهل العلم إن البكرة لا يجبرها وليها خلافا لمن يرى أن لوالد البكر أن يجبرها فهذا الحديث فصل في هذه القضية. He said this is an important matter, an important issue. He says you'll find that the majority of the scholars from Ahl al-Ilm, they will say that al-Bikr, that the woman who's a virgin, she is not forced or compulsed. She's not forced or compulsed by her wali. In contrast to those who take the opinion that is for the father of the virgin, to force her. This hadith, he says, is a faslun fi hadhihi al-qadiyya, that it nullifies all the argument and all the bickering and the ikhtilaf. This nas, or this text from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Also, what is extracted from the benefits of this narration, ya ikhwata wa ya ma'ashar al-mustami'at, as far as the sisters are also likewise who are listening, that also you will find that the woman in this narration came to the Prophet ﷺ, which is the indication that the Wali al-Amr, or the one who's the Na'ib Wali al-Amr, that the Muslim ruler, or the one who is a designated person to take his place from the Nuwab, whether it be from the judges or the courts or the court system in the Muslim country. That's what we're speaking about, not the non-Muslim country. We're talking about the Muslim country. That the woman, if she was in a state where she was being oppressed, and this actually took place where she was forced to marry an individual or a man that she was not pleased with, then she would take her affair to the court system or to those who are under the jurisdiction of the Muslim ruler, and what will come as a result of it, he will dissolve the marriage. Are you looking for something, Sheikh? What are you doing?
Actually, I'm trying to get to that hadith.
The hadith of the Wali al-Amr, of the Muslim ruler, he will come and he will conduct this affair and he will dissolve the wedded marriage. Or he will dissolve the marriage. He will dissolve the marriage until it's what? Null and void. But if they're not the Muslim ruler, as we'll talk about inshallah, if they're not in a Muslim country, then they will take it to one of the Marakis, or those are from the heads of the different Islamic, or heading the different Islamic centers, or those who are in charge of the masajid, as this is from the affairs of the Muslims, in which they're the only ones that conduct these matters. So we say, if they're not in a Muslim country, then of course, they will take it to the courts, they will take it to the authorities, and they will conduct these matters appropriately or in accordance to what is the problem. Or hence that if they were in a non-Muslim country, then they will take it to one of the marakas of the masajid, and they will come in and they will dissolve the wedding contract. That's also in regards to domestic abuse, where a woman is being domestically abused. Same thing we say in regards to this matter. We apply the same steps. If a woman is being domestically abused and the man does not want to let her out the marriage, even though he's domestically abusing her, and these type of affairs are taking place in the house where he's abusing his wife, then likewise she would take it to the authorities if he's in a Muslim land. But if not, then they would take it likewise to one of the masajid, so the marriage can be dissolved. So in this hadith, you notice it says, في هذا الحديث دليل على أن فسخ عقد النكاح باختصاص من اختصاص الحاكم. The dissolving the marriage contract is from the powers of the hakim, of the Muslim ruler. لأن هذه المرأة جاءت إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فدل على أنه إذا وقع مثل هذا فإن المرجع إلى المحكمة الشرعية هي التي تنظر في هذه القضية وفي هذا العقد لئلا تحصل الفوضى عند الناس. From this hadith, is that the affair of the woman whose denominative remained in this marriage to this man that she detests or she hates, or she was forced in this marriage that she was not pleased with, that the woman, she came to the Prophet ﷺ, which is an indication that if something like this was to take place, then the Marji', the one whose return or this affair is returned back to, he says al-Mahkama al-Shar'iyyah, the Islamic courts, in which they will look into this what? They will look into this case in order for chaos not to take place with the people. So you see how our religion teaches us adab of certain situations in detail. What to do if oppression takes place, or something that it goes against the Kitab and Sunnah takes place. That there's a protocol and there's a system. Or if a woman takes place and there's oppression takes place in regards to her being forced to be married to someone she was not pleased with, then she would take it to the authorities in order to what? For the marriage to be dissolved properly and the proper steps to be done so there would not be chaos. طيب. The next hadith you'll find in the chapter, Ya Ma'ashar al-Ikhwa, that says on the authority of his the authority of Hasan عن الحسن عن سمرة عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Read the next narration. عن الحسن عن سمرة عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال أي امرأة زوجها وليان فهي للأول منهما. أي امرأة زوجها وليان فهي للأول منهما. It says any woman that is married off by two walis, by two men, then the marriage belongs to the first of the two. Then the marriage belongs to the first of the two. رواه أحمد والأربعة وحسنه الترمذي. If you notice in this hadith, this is another clarification to show how beautiful our religion is and how it lays down different circumstances that comes about and how to conduct it properly. And that, like we said, there's a protocol, there's a system, and there's details for every, not only just every affair in our religion, but everything has been laid out properly, which increases us in our iman to show that our religion is what? Is perfect in every aspect. And that is comprehensive, especially in regards to those affairs that are what? That are very sacred, especially the communal affairs or the social affairs in regards to the families. So these affairs are very vital, and they are the ones that builds the communities, and they are the founding structure or the foundation in which all the families are built upon. Goes back to this aspect of what we're speaking about. So if you notice in the narration it says, now if there's two walis, that the woman has two walis, for example the father or maybe the brother, or her father and her uncle, her father and her uncle, which of course is the father and to him that's his brother. The father and the uncle, or for example, the father might have died and there might be two brothers who are related, same mother, same father. Or she just doesn't have any father, any two brothers, maybe she has two uncles who are at the same as far as in the level. What do we mean in the level? We'll talk about that inshallah. So the first thing that we say, notice in the narration, that it says that if two walis was to come and marry marry a woman off, he says that it is for the first of the two. Why? Because you will find in the marriage contract that once the first married her off, then that is the valid marriage, because now she's what? Married. And it is improper now for a woman that's married for another marriage to what? To be valid after she's already been what? Married. فَتَكُونَ الْمَرَأَةُ لِلزَّوْجِ الْأَوَّلِ. It would be now for the first, for the husband of the first, for the wali, the first wali had married her off to that first man. For example, number one, a woman or sister, she will have two brothers. And the oldest brother, or the oldest of the two brothers, who is what they call her shaqiq, her brother who is a shaqiq, meaning her blood brother from the same mother and the same, or her blood brother from the same mother and the same father. It's a reason why I'm saying this, trust me. It's the reason why I'm saying this. Let's just say you have a sister, and she has a brother who's with her akhuha ash-shaqiq. Akhuha ash-shaqiq. Her blood brother from the same mother and the same what? Father. Let's just say now, in this instance, the brother is what? The brother is older. Let's say her big brother or her older brother married her off. Or a person offered a proposal to the older brother. A man came to the older brother and said, I want to marry your sister. I want to marry your sister. And he says, okay. So now they are now administrating and organizing those affairs in order for the first one, from the oldest brother to what? Be married to her sister. But then another man, without him knowing, comes to his youngest brother, or to her younger brother. And he might be in another city, or another country, for example. So the older brother did not know about another man proposing to his sister from the aspect of who? The younger brother. For example, another person comes to the younger brother and says, I want to marry your sister. So he said, okay, no problem. Let's start now organizing the affairs, and let's try to finalize it and carry it out. So they didn't know. The older brother didn't know, and the younger brother, of course, did not have knowledge of what was taking place. The older brother married her off. The older brother had married her off. First. Then let's just say 2, 3, or 4, 5 hours later, the younger brother married her off. So now who does the marriage belong to?
The first.
It will be for the first. G. It will be for the first. Why? Because the second marriage contract had now infringed upon what? Infringed upon the first one. Because after the first one, it was already what? It was already carried out. It was already finalized. And it was valid. For that reason, the first marriage takes precedence over the second one. And the second one is not valid. فَلَا يَصِحُّ. Now I'm going to get into an example. Let's just say. Now listen to this. Let's just say a sister now has a akh min ab. Akh min ab. والثاني أخ شقيق. Now listen to this. This is a second example. Let's just say now a sister has a brother from her father. Meaning they have the same father but different what? Mothers. So you have أخ للأب. أخ للأب. So now in this situation she has a brother that's just from the father's side. She has a brother that's from the what? Father's side. And the second brother is akhun shaqiq. It's her blood brother from the same mother and the same father. You understand, everyone? You understand, everyone? A blood brother from the same what? A blood brother from the same mother and the same father. So here in this instance, the rutbah of the quwwah as far as wilayah, meaning the strength of the wilayah of the person who's the wali here, who takes precedence? The blood brother or the brother from the what? From the father. Which one? Which one you would think?
From the father.
You say the father?
Yeah, the brother from the father.
The brother from the father. طيب. Huh? Yes. Here we would say who takes precedence as far as the akhun shaqiq, who's the brother from the same mother and the same father. He would take precedence over the brother who's just from the father. You have to say it, everyone? So the wilaya is the akh shaqiq, is for the blood brother from the same mother and who have the same brother and the same mother and the same father. He's stronger as far as in his rutbah, as far as in his level, as far as who's the one who's more deserving of what they call the wilaya, meaning to be the wali. إذا زوجها معا الاثنين فإنه ينفسخ النكاحان. طيب. Now, here's another instance. If both of them now, if they both marry her at the same time, together, meaning to different people, of course, two different marriages, at the same time, in all instances, let's just say now, two walis come and they marry her off simultaneously. Two different marriages, all one brother married her off and then another brother married her off, all at the same time. This is a third instance. What do we say here? As Ahl al-Ilm, and from them is Ibn al-Uthaymeen, he says that both of the marriage are invalid. Both of them have to be what? Disregarded. Both of them what? Are disregarded. Both of them are invalid. فَيَنْسَخْ النِّكَاحَانْ مَعًا. For both marriages now are dissolved and disregarded. If both marriages what? Take place simultaneously at the same time. But there's no reason for me to say at the same time, let's say simultaneously. But if it's both took place at the same time, then the marriages are what? Both of them are disregarded. Both of them. Both of them are disregarded. Why? Because لا يمكن فسخ أحدهما فينفسخ النكاحان. Because they said there's no way that other one could be what? Disregarded. If both took place at the same time, it's known that one couldn't override the other. Because if it was done simultaneously, right, everyone? If it was done at the same time. If it was done at the same time, based upon the hadith, is for this, we said in the narration, what does it say in your books? It's for the first what? For the first marriage take precedence over the what? Second. Let's just say both happened at the same time, simultaneously. What do we say? Both of them are what? Disregarded and canceled. Now, both of them are disregarded and canceled. ولكن جهل السابق أو النسي فحينئذ يقرأ. Now, here's another situation. All these masail, mashallah, are all been mentioned in the kutub al-fiqh. Are all مدونة ومسطرة ومسجلة في كتب الفقه. Hold on my ear. What's on the floor? So now this is a fourth example. So add this on to the fourth. You have another example. We have another example where it says now let's just say the sabiq, like a jahl sabiq or nasi. Now here's a fourth example now. Let's just say one of the two, or the sabiq, the one that preceded, he was ignorant, he didn't know. Let's just say he didn't know. Or he might have forgot. Even though it's kind of like a little far-fetched that something would take place, but it's still mentioned in Kutub al-Fiqh. Because our religion, we have to cover all circumstances as much as possible. That's the beauty of this religion. You'll find that Ahl al-Ilm try to cover every type of circumstance so the hukm can apply as far as what's in agreement to Kitab and Sunnah. You'll find that they mention different types of scenarios so they can have that answer for them. Except in those scenarios which is rare, but something that's very, very strange that it could take place or is very far-fetched. But hence that you'll find that they mention these masail, because you will find that in a lot of different countries, in a lot of different circumstances and times and places, certain things do happen. That is what we consider far-fetched, but it does happen. It does happen. So you'll find that they try to mention, they cover all aspects so they can have an answer, so the people can be upon clarity as far as their religion. So it says, وَلَكِنْ جَهْلَ السَّابِقُ النَّسِي فَحِينَئِذٍ يُقْرَعْ. He said, let's just say the one prior, he was ignorant. The one who married his sister off or his mother off prior, he was ignorant. Or he forgot. He said here in this instance, he said they would draw lots.
This is the fourth example.
It's the fourth example. Here in this instance, they would draw lots. It's the reason why I tell people to bring their pens, bring their books, come to class, please, brothers, come to class. لأن أحد العقدين صحيح. He said, why? Because in this instance, one of the two marriage contracts are valid. However, it's not known. If the case where it's not known, then the person will what? Draw lots. So now we want to gather up everything. Just listen. So you wrote the fourth down? Okay. Now, you have al-aqsam thalatha. So the first one is, now listen to this. You can, matter of fact, add this one to the fourth. This is the fourth. Add this one as the details to the fourth example. It says, for example, أن نعلم المتأخر في النكاح الأول. طيب. So now we're going to say the first one. That أن نعلم المتأخر. He says that we tell the person who came like late, or the person who married his sister off later, we tell him. And now he has knowledge of it. He's not ignorant. We tell him now, for example, we call him, listen, your older brother or your older father or your father married your sister, your sister off. And we're telling you now, so you can be upon knowledge, so don't what? So don't do it. Let's just say he sent the message out, but the message didn't reach him. But it didn't reach him till late. You understand? It didn't reach him till what? Late. The message got to him very late. We would say here in this instance, what? That the marriage is for the first. The marriage is for the first. That the marriage is for the first. The second, it says, أَنْ نَعْلَمَ أَنَّهُمَا وَقَعَا مَعًا. So now the second, this is called the agrees with what we just mentioned. Let's just say it happened all simultaneously. So what do we say here? We say if it happens simultaneously, even though Ahl al-Ilm, even Shafi'i ibn al-Uthaymeen says it's kind of like far-fetched to think that something like that might happen. But he said, but Ahl al-Ilm, from the people of fiqh, you'll find that they actually mention it. He says, let's just say that it happens simultaneously. And if it happens simultaneously, then we said, then the nikah is batil. Both of them are dissolved and both of them are what? Disregarded. If it happened exactly at the same time. The third is an na'lam at-tartib. The third is that we know the order. Meaning, the order. The third is what is done, or what is regards to the order. How it was arranged, or the arrangement of how it happened. Just listen. He says, أن نعلم الترتيب أي أن أحدهما قبل الآخر لكن نجهل أو ننسى. He says that, for example, now you have the order it was arranged. That one of the two was before the other. But however, we're ignorant. We don't know which one came first. That's basically what he's trying to say. One doesn't know which one took precedence. For example, one might have been in another country, another been in another. And then some confusion came in the time some type of way. Nobody knows which time came, which date was the day, or maybe weeks might have passed. So nobody knows exactly what was the date, what was the time, what was the evening, the hour, the morning. You understand? Like it's ignorant. No? So a person, because a couple of minutes ago, everybody's like, how can a person be ignorant? But let's just say it happens. Don't know the time, they don't know the place, they don't know exactly. Well, I don't remember the time when they got married. I don't know the exact date. I don't know. You understand, everyone? So he does. If they're ignorant or they forgot, he says this here in this instance they draw lots. Share. Here in this instance they draw lots. So to gather up everything, what do we say? For number one, we say in regards to the, if we'll start with the asl, the hadith. The asl, the hadith, so we can keep it simple. If there are two walis, of course, and they're both strong in the level as far as their wilayah, let's just say like the marriage that came first was from those brothers that we just gave. The oldest brother married his sister off first, and it's been known, it's clear. I married my sister off today. No, I'm marrying her off. I'm marrying her off today too. If his second brother does it, then the first one takes precedence. It was already valid, it was already done. Khalas. There's no way that now the second can marry the first, or marry or take precedence over the first marriage. The first marriage nullifies any other marriage that's done. That's the asl, that's the origin. Then you have the example where, like we said, you have the brother from the aspect of the father, who's what they call akhun lil-ab, or akhul ab, or akhun lil-ab, who's a brother from the father's side. And then you have her blood brother, or akhuha shaqiq, her blood brother. As far as who takes precedence in wilayah, then is the blood brother over the what? The brother?
Just over the father.
Just for the father. أحسنتم. The أخو الشقيق يقدم على أخ للأب. أخو الشقيق وأخوها الشقيق يقدم على الأخ للأب. Takes precedence over the what? The blood brother takes precedence over the what?
The brother on the father's side.
The brother just from the father's side. Then we have another instance. Let's just say all that happened at the same time. Both. That we said that both marriages are what? Disregarded and canceled out. Even though it's kind of far-fetched, but like we said, al-ilm mentioned it. Because certain things, strange things sometimes happen. Even though it might be rare, but it does happen. So they mention it in order to have an answer. So the people can be on clarity as far as their religion. Then you have the other, like we said, to be ignorant or not aware, or maybe one forgot. Like I said, a brother might have married, or someone married his sister off, or daughter off, or he might have married his sister off, for example. The time might have elapsed, he might have forgot the actual time. So they're not able to distinguish whether or not which marriage took place over the other. They're not able to, I can't really recollect what was the exact time. You were there, you was in this place, I was in another place. I don't recognize the evening, what was the time, what was the hour. So no one can really be able to distinguish which preceded the other. You understand, everyone? Which preceded the other? It's not known. It's majhul. Does everyone understand? If this is the case, then and it was forgotten, or it was ignorant, then what do we say? Then we say that the person would draw lots. Yes, yuqra'. He says a person here will draw lots. We'll talk about that later. No, he said we could draw lots. طيب. Listen to what even Sheikh Salih Fawzan mentioned in this regard. He says this, you have to write this down. He says, تقدم لنا أنه لا يصح النكاح إلا بولي لكن إذا كانت المرأة لها وليان متساويان في المرتبة. He says, already preceded that the marriage is not valid except with a wali. That's clear. There's no way that a woman can get married except that she has to have permission and agreement with her wali. So if she gets married without a wali, if she's married off without without a wali, then the marriage is invalid. Of course. He said, however, let's just say there's a woman and she has two walis. She has a waliyan, mutasawiyana fil martaba. Two walis. He says, and they're both at the same level. What does he mean at the same level?
One is not greater than the other. Like they may both be from the mother and the father.
Ahsant. That both of them are on the same level as far as the rutbah of who's the one that's more deserving of the wilayah, of being the wali. Meaning, both of them are a brother, or both of the brothers are blood brothers. So they're all at the same level as far as in what? Who's deserving of being the wali. Because you have, like we said, you have a brother who's just from the father's side. You have a brother who's just from the mom's side. Even though what takes precedence is the asaba. As far as in marriage, a lot of people don't know that. Those who are supposed to be in charge, this is of course in a non-Muslim country, circumstances are totally different. But what's supposed to be is that if we're in a Muslim country and we're from a big tribe, big family, and you have different various relatives, those who take precedence as far as being the wali of the woman is either the blood brothers or the brothers from the father's side, the asaba. They're supposed to take charge for the woman, not the relatives from the mother's side. So a lot of people don't know that. Not the relatives from the mother's side. Rather, either the two blood brothers, of course the father is the head of the family. Let's just say the father died. The father might have passed away, rahimahullah. So who's left is the brothers to take charge of the affairs of the family. So the two brothers, who's the blood brothers, will take charge of the affairs of the women in their family. If there isn't two brothers, then we go another level, which is for the brothers from the father's side should take charge of the women. The brothers from the father's side take charge of the women. Not the actual what they call the side of the women, or from their side, they're not supposed to be awliya. They're not supposed to be a wali for the women. From the relatives from the mother's side, whether it be from the uncle, the brothers, or the mother's brother, or her uncle, or so on and so forth, they are not supposed to be what? Awliya. They're not supposed to be wali for the woman. A lot of people don't know that, but there's something that is something that has to be, and that's how it's supposed to be. Of course, here in the Muslim country, it's something different. Non-Muslim country, because all the family structure is destroyed here in this country due to fornication and adultery, homosexuality, it's destroyed the family structures. It's destroyed it. So, of course, the majority now who take charge of the women here in this country are the Marakis Islami, or the Masajid. Due to the fact that we said we live in a non-Muslim country, fornication is widespread, girlfriend, boyfriend, messes up the families, nobody knows what. That's the problem of why fornication and adultery is prohibited. So this is what Sheikh Salih Fawzani mentions. It says here in the last part. He says, now if both are at the same level as far as in strength and in the same level, he says, مثل أن يكون لها أخوان شقيقان. Similarly, or similar, she has two brothers who are blood brothers. For both of them, they marry her off. فزوجها أحدها بزوج. Excuse me, I'm sorry everyone. One of them marries her off. Then the other brother, who's a blood brother, marries her off. So who's the marriage that takes precedence? We say in this instance, the first takes precedence. The one who married her off first and the one who made the marriage contract first. As for the second that came late, for verily that marriage is what? Nullified and is disregarded. لأنه وارد على عقد سابق فيلغى. Because it infringed upon a marriage that was already carried out and valid, and for that reason we nullify the second. He says, this is the meaning of the Prophet ﷺ when he mentioned this, said, أَيُّمَا امْرَأَةٍ زَوَّجَهَا وَلِيًّان فَهِيَ لِلْأَوَّلِ مِنْهُمَا. any woman that the two walis marry her, all for verily it belongs to the first. Now listen. Now here he starts to give the details. وهذا إذا علم الأول من العقدين. هذا إذا علم الأول من العقدين في الحكم للأول. This is the first one if he has knowledge of it, of the two contracts, then the hukum or the ruling is for the first, and it nullifies the second. طيب. He said, now this is what the ijma' of ahl ilm. Now he gives the other circumstances that we talked about. He says, as for أما إذا لم يعلم أيهما أسبق فيبطلان جميعا. However, if he does not know, or they not know which one came first, which one of the two, by verily, more example, that both were carried out at the same time, if they realize it, he said then, the both of them are disregarded, if they happen at the same time. If they happen at the same time, then both are what? Disregarded. لأنه لا يمكن أن يتميز أحدهما عن الآخر. فالحاصل أنه إذا زوج ولم يعلم السابق منهما أو زوج جميعا في وقت واحد ولم يحصل سبق لأحدهما ففي الصورتين يبطل العقدان لأنه لا ميزة لأحدهما على الآخر. Now this is what is a little bit more, it's more clear of course, that he says now if both takes place at the same time, then both of them are disregarded. He says فإذا زوج جميعا في وقت واحد ولم يحصل سبق لأحدهما ففي الصورتين يبطل العقدين. Even though Ahl Ilm, as you'll find that Ibn Uthaymeen says what? Says that the marriage are both what? That both of the marriage are disregarded. He said in regards to the one that's ignorant, the person that does not have knowledge of which marriage took place, we said that one would draw lines. Here Sheikh Salih Fawzan even says, he said on the safe side, he said we say both marriages are what? Disregarded. He says just to be on the safe side. Even though Sheikh Uthaymeen says to draw lines, Sheikh Salih Fawzan, he says to be safe, he says that the marriage we both disregard both of them due to the fact that what? No one knows exactly which one took precedence, and it's a dangerous affair because we know anything dealing with the private part are very what? Tedious matters. Anything of that which is dealing with the private parts and the family structures and building it are very tedious and very dangerous matters because it affects the honor of the family and the family structure. So he said now, just for safety measures, we just now disregard both of them. Even though everything he says what? It's different. He said draw lots. Sheikh Salih Fawzan says nullify both of them. All of them are nullified. Especially if one does not know that the other, which time took place, what place, what time, then we just nullify all of them. And they just, both of them would be what? Just start a new marriage contract so everyone can be on clarity.
Because I was wondering if Abdullah said, well, we got married at Asr. And I'm saying to myself, well, we got married at Dhuhr. Right? You know, whereas if you said Maghrib, then I may say Asr. The person's heart may be connected.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. In this regard, well, I married her off at Asr, I married her off at Dhuhr. Are you sure? But I did arrive at such and such time. Sheikh Salih Fawzan says, I'll just for safety measures, cancel out all of them. He says for the house, أنه إذا زوج ولم يعلم السابق منهما أو زوجا جميعا في وقت واحد ولم يحصل سبق لأحدهما ففي الصورتين يبطل العقدان. For in both instances, he says that the aqd is batil. إذا لم يعلم أيهما أسبق فيبطلان جميعا لأنه لا يمكن أن يتميز أحدهما عن الآخر. فالحاصل أنه إذا زوج ولم يعلم السابق منهما أو زوجا جميعا في وقت واحد في آن واحد ولم يحصل السبق لأحدهما ففي الصورتين يبطل العقدان. He said both of them are what? Cancelled out. Just to be on the what? Just to be on the safe side. Both of them are cancelled out. طيب. The next hadith on the authority of Jabir ibn Abdullah radiyallahu anhu, he says قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أيما عبد تزوج بغير إذن مواليه أو أهله فهو عاهر فهو عاهر. The authority Jabir ibn Abdullah radiallahu anhu, it says قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم أيهما عبد تزوج بغير إذن مواليه أو أهله فهو عاهر. رواه أحمد وأبو داود والنسائي والترمذي وصححه وكذلك ابن حبان. He says any slave, he says, that marries without the permission of his mawali, of the one who's in charge of his affairs or his family, then he is a ahir. Then he is a what? A fornicator. Then he is a fornicator. He's a ahir. He's a fornicator. And I'm going to read the next narration. It says, وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه. We'll read both, so we can try to cover both, a little bit of both today. That the Prophet ﷺ said, لا يجمع بين المرأة وعمتها ولا بين المرأة وخالتها متفق عليه. And this is a narration that shows another beauty of our religion, because I think a lot of the non-Muslims, they think that when a person is able to get married to more than one woman, they think there's no structure in it. They think that it could be done with the mother, the sister, they could gather between a sister and a mother. All those things are incorrect. So they don't know that it's an actual what? There's actual details of who you can and who you can't marry. And this is from the narration that clarifies it. For example, the Prophet ﷺ said that a woman is not gathered along with her what? Her aunt, meaning her ammatiha. Her amma is the sister of the father. The ammatun is the sister of the father. So a man cannot marry a woman and her aunt from the father's side either. And also likewise, he cannot marry a woman and her aunt from her mother's side either. Is it clear what I'm saying? And it gets more and more in detail. Of course, we know man can't marry his mother, he can't marry his mother, of course. He cannot marry his sister, he cannot marry his daughter. All that's impermissible. Of course we know that. Well, inshallah, I hope we know that. Even though we see strange things in these days and times that we live in. But like we said, the first thing is, عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه, that the Prophet ﷺ prohibited that يجمع بين المرأة وعمتها, that a man marry a woman and at the same time marry her ammatun. What's a amma? Amma is the aunt from the father's side. Is the aunt from the father's side. And khalatiha, that he marry a woman and her what? Her aunt from the mother's side. Meaning, of course, the mother's sister. They cannot be married at the same time. Also, we're going to get into the narration where a man cannot marry a woman and two sisters. He can't gather between a sister and another sister at the same time. He cannot marry both. For example, he wants to marry a sister. So she says, now, yes, I want to marry you and your sister. We say in this instance is what? Is what? Impermissible. It's impermissible for a man to marry and gather between two sisters. As far as what took place in Jahiliyyah, that's something we'll talk about later. But here, in this instance, it's not permissible to gather between what? The aunt from the father's side, nor the aunt from the aunt's side, from the mother's side, excuse me. Nor also likewise to gather between both sisters at the same time. It's not permissible to marry both. As we'll talk about, you'll have what they call tahrim ila abad. And you have tahrim ila amad. As you'll see, our religion is been given in details exactly in our book and in the authentic sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Which you'll find al-ilm break down the categories where they say you have what they call tahrim ila al-abad. Unlawful forever. Something that's unlawful forever. For example, for you to marry your mother. That's unlawful forever. And also likewise to marry your wife's mother. Your wife's mother. It's impermissible. As we'll talk about, there's text for all this. which to let us know how religion is beautiful and complete in every aspect. We will bring ayat, hadith that clarifies all of this. Because I think the problem is with the non-Muslims, they think, okay, a man can marry more than one woman. So that means a man can just do what he wants. He can just marry just random, any woman he wants, his mother, his daughter, his aunt, whatever. No. There's a system to it, and there's protocol, and there's details. A man cannot marry his mother, and he cannot marry his wife's mother if he was intimate with the daughter. That's the conditions we'll talk about. Don't worry. If he was intimate with the daughter, then the mother becomes unlawful. But if he did not consummate with the daughter, let's just say he had a marriage contract, but they were never intimate. They was intimate with each other. Now he still can marry the mother. If no intimacy took place, and let's just say they canceled the marriage out, then here in this instance he can what? Marry the mother. With the condition that he was not intimate with the what? With the daughter. Understand, everyone? And there's text for that, as we're going to talk about inshallah. But as far as you have the first category, which is tahrim ila al-abad, what is unlawful